So of course I'm packing for Taipei. I pack, like a bunch of sleeves for a bunch of sealed events, and I pack my good old trusty Blaze Blitz deck, because of course that's what I'm going to pack. And I go to take a shower because the banned and suspended announcement, oh no, it's restricted now. The scheduled banned and restricted announcement hadn't posted. And I get out and now I can unpack one of those. Now I'm probably gonna I'll still bring the deck, but Blaze is a little different now after today, and so is every other format. Do I like it? I'm gonna tell you right now. Classic and Constructed has been changed for the better because Count Your Blessings is banned. Germinate is banned as well. That's an interesting one. Scepter of Pain is banned. That one is a little bit more expected after you see what Florian did, the atrocities he committed on the ProQuest season. And Bonds of Ancestry Red is back, and a bunch of Ninja fans are now going to rejoice because that card has made its way back. Count Your Blessings is perhaps the most controversial card in Flesh and Blood history. I think that's true. I don't think there's a more controversial card than Count Your Blessings. So when it released, I liked the idea of a card like this, a generic archetype defining card, a card that says I'm playing this way and you are going to interact with me in a different way. Unfortunately, Count Your Blessings was that, but also not that, because the interaction was you just lose. That was the interaction. It wasn't just really much else. It was like, what do you tech? Poison the wells, which is hilarious because that's exactly what I teched in Blitz today. I was literally going to change my Blitz list so that I could take it to Taipei and play Blaze and expect Count Your Blessings. Now we don't have to do that, and the list can stay almost the same. But this is pretty crazy. There's some cool things about Count Your Blessings, as they say that there certainly are Count Your Blessings fans, but there's also everybody else. And that's a lot of people because they talk about how even on the armory level, it impacted people who played into that for the first time. That's not a great new player experience. This is a good move. While I still like the idea of generic cards that can come in and change how you build the deck, Count Your Blessings can't really be that because it was too good, it was too powerful. Now, if there was a payoff that was different and not just this is all fatigue, that would be really cool. Let's say it was a Count Your Blessings, include X amount of cards in your deck and get that many gold tokens. And then you do some cool little combo that doesn't win you the game, but it could put you in a really cool position. You could still do something like this card, but Count Your Blessings, not it. It was certainly not it. I think the biggest part is that Count Your Blessings pushed fatigue strategies, which I think is the least fun way to play against someone in Flesh and Blood, and it makes it feel the least interactive. So it was right for it to go, and they took it out of Blitz as well as Classic Constructed. Now, it's not only that, because Florian needed to be touched. If you didn't see, heck, I'll just pull it up. Hold on. I just pulled it up on Twitter. I know it's a little cut off. Maybe I can make a quick change. If I zoom out, nope, Twitter doesn't let you zoom out. But this is Florian. Florian literally has 123 wins, more than Aurora, who LL'd the week before, of course. It's crazy how powerful and consistent Runeblades have been since Rosetta. Rosetta was a class-defining set for exactly Runeblades and no other class. It was a class-defining set for Runeblades, and it has been shown to be powerful enough to push almost all Runeblades to the top of the heap the entire year of 2025. Runeblades have ruled the roost. Yes, I know Enigma existed. Yes, I know Zen was around, but really it was Enigma. Runeblades, it's where it's been. And Florian has had a string now of a couple of weeks of just pure dominance on the meta. And I don't know if he needed to be touched heavily, but it certainly needed to happen because it was starting to get to a point where everything was coalescing to Florian. And that's not good. So they did two things. Number one, they took away Scepter of Pain, which is very smart because it means that his ability to just not let you play the game and instead just build up rune chance and blow you up. The OTK strategy was too easy, particularly off of the back of cards like Count Your Blessings, right? But this, especially Channel the Millennium Tree plus Scepter of Pain, that was just too good. It was just too easy for them to just go ahead and set it up. And taking away his weapon means that he now has to focus a little bit more on one plan or the other. But they also touched Germinate. Germinate is probably the card that comes as the biggest surprise. It was certainly a surprise to me. I thought they could maybe move that because I'd heard some people say it, but I was like, I don't know. This to me felt like the Scepter of Pain removal felt like all that they were going to do. Germinate's kind of a big deal, and they say there are two things that drove them towards the ban. First, Florian's in-game feels like it had gotten too simple and deterministic. Basically, just pitch stack Germinates, play them at the end of the game, get way too many rune chants, make your opponent just lose all their cards because they're either stopping the rune chants or stopping the damage. It just was one of those scenarios where it was too easy to just understand that the game was over. And like they said, it has no deck building cost. It's literally just a good card for him. I mean, again, Rosetta, pretty good set for Rune Blades. It also doesn't overtly influence in every matchup, but against heroes, foolish enough, I should say, to try going long against Florian, they just lose. They just lose the game. But this is the really interesting point. Secondly, there is a card in the High Seas expansion slot that you have not seen, which is both an effective replacement for and a brutal combination with Germinate. Given Florian's current success, we decided not to allow both cards to be legal at the same time. That's pretty interesting because now it means that maybe with whatever card that they're hinting at here in the expansion slot, maybe Florian becomes a pretty interesting living legend to pick. And we can talk about that here in a second because they changed that format as well. And then finally, Zen. Because he's out of the format, now we can get Bonds of Ancestry Red back, which means Katsu comes back into the fold, and ninjas just continue to be like doing the ninja thing. They are the premier like go wide deck. Like no one goes wider than a ninja. That's a weird, I'm not gonna say that again. Either way, it's the premier aggro go wide style of deck, and it always has been. Ninja in general is that class, and Katsu now gets to maybe do that again, maybe. Okay, let's talk about Blitz, because there's one change in Blitz that they made. For those that don't know, back at the like the few weeks before the very first Worlds, a few weeks before that, there was a ban announcement. And in the Blitz format, which was part of the World Championship format, in the Blitz format, they completely banned Storm Striders. And at the time, I thought it was the dumbest freaking ban, and I said as much in a video. It was so stupid. It was ridiculous. It was unnecessary. And after Worlds, they changed it. They went back. They, at the very least, went back to putting Storm Striders into the rotation. And so what have they done? They've taken it away again. They've taken it away again. But you know what? This time, I actually buy it. This time, I actually agree. And here's the reason why. So when they took it away originally, taking it away from literally only Kano at the time, and Icelander, I guess, technically. I think Icelander was still around. I think that was like her last... No, maybe she was already gone. No, I think she was still around. Either way, taking it away at the time essentially meant that Kano was deleted from the format. Here's the cool thing, though. I think now you can take it away, and Blaze still has deck building options, and the same thing can be said of Verdance. Both of those heroes are still functional, while losing a large chunk of their inevitability in the end game. And I think Blaze is still very good overall without access to Storm Striders. In fact, if I weren't leaving to Taipei tomorrow, I might make like a deck change video and like tell you how I would change that. Heck, maybe I'll sit in the airport and do a live stream and tell you what I would change about the same deck, the exact same deck. And in fact, I do think that one version of her deck is now strictly better than the other, specifically because Storm Striders is banned. But it's not the only thing that's gone. Channel the Lightning Valley is gone, Count Your Blessings is gone, and Flicker Wisp is gone. Basically, they cut down none other than Aurora at the stump. She has now been neutered to, I wouldn't say insane degrees, but well, no, I should say insane degrees. It is insane to lose a very consistent draw option that makes you play 5 and 6 card hands consistently throughout the entirety of the very short game, and the combo piece that legitimately just deletes most decks in the format. Like, even if you're winning, is if they have like the Flicker Wisp Arc Lightning combo, you probably die, even if you're in a commanding position. Trust me, I know, I've been in that position. So Aurora, very good in Blitz, and now not nearly as good. Now, is she deleted out of the format? I would say more so than Storm Striders being removed for Wizards, and that's crazy. Now, I do think that I think Verdance takes a big step back losing Storm Striders, because her ability to play on the opponent's turn at the very end of the game was almost a necessity. She doesn't have that ability anymore. Like, she can't really do an on opponent's turn kill without Storm Striders anymore. And that's a big deal. So she takes a pretty big step back. Blaze is the one reason that you can still play a wizard in this format and do okay. But I think now she comes back to a nice, even level, and it's a challenge to play the deck in this type of scenario. So I think that's kind of cool, personally. I think that's cool. And of course, Count Your Blessings being deleted is huge because it makes Terra stop being stupid. And that's cool. Terra not being stupid means he goes back to being a cool Guardian dude and swinging giant earth hammers. I think that's way more interesting than stupid, I play Count Your Blessings, and you have to have 2 copies of Aetherize and 2 copies of Poison the Well in order to win this matchup for anyone, period, end of story. And spoiler alert, that's exactly what was in my list going to Taipei, and now I don't have to bring it, baby. I just got to figure out what boots to wear, and that's maybe a harder question. Living Legend loses, well, doesn't lose. It kind of loses some things. Carrion Husk doesn't exist anymore. My spoiler card. Oh my god, everybody, my spoiler card has been deleted. It's such a good card too. Oh man, I still have my spoiler card, Carrion Husk Cold Foil, that they sent me. That's a beautiful card, but it is no longer in the format. Crown of Seeds also no longer in the format. And then a bunch of restrictions. Remember, you have restrictions in this format where you can only play 1 copy of that card instead of 3 copies of the card. Now you can only play 1 copy of Cull. Now you can only play 1 copy of Deadwood Dirge. Now you can only play 1 copy of Succumb to Temptation. Can I just say, Runeblade, 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 Runeblade. Is there a problem? Are you seeing a trend here? Runeblade, Runeblade. Are you picking up on something? Do we have a problem? Nah, it's fine. Hey, Hypothermia is back. There you go. Dust off Starvo again. I mean, he was already still pretty good. But Chain quite good. Chain and Starvo were pulled back a little bit. Hypothermia comes back a little bit. Crown of Seeds comes back, pulls Starvo back a little bit. But overall, I think it is what it is. I personally, I think this is fantastic. Honestly, so far, I think every one of these changes is fantastic. I really do, including taking away Storm Striders, of which I went and splurged to get a cold foil. I traded so much stuff and paid money and then waited a year for a Storm Striders to get through the international mail in Chicago, and now it's banned in my favorite format, but that's okay because I think it's probably the right call. Blaze is so good, guys. Blaze is really good in that format. But you know what? Now we're gonna have pirates, so I mean, maybe it's time for a clean break and we just full commit to the pirate lifestyle. Anyway, Commoner Reality Refractor is banned because that deck was toxic. There you go. Now, holy crap, this changes everything. Look at this, the update to the Living Legend point distribution. I love this change. Tell me if I'm just way off base, but I'm smitten. I'm smitten. This change is across the way, wearing a seductive red dress and winking at me. I like it. Going forward, 2 major changes will occur with the Living Legend point distribution. Change number 1, fractional Living Legend points will now be kept in track of in the gym backend. Basically, so that they don't have to keep rounding down, and missing out on points. Now they'll keep fractions. Okay, but here's the crazy thing. Living Legend points will be subject to multipliers that scale over a hero's lifespan. I think this is cool. Essentially, during the first year of a hero's legality, their Living Legend points will be halved. So if they win, I think I could show, no, it's not on the screen. If they win an event that rewards 100 points, then they would only win 50 of those points during the first year. There are some issues that I can see in this already, but I like the idea. During the second year, they have it's just like the normal points. During the every year after that, they get 1.5 points, which means that heroes are kind of like hurriedly like brought along into the living legend status, and new heroes can come to replace them, or replacement versions of those heroes can be printed. I think this is cool. I really like this. I think this is important too. They say this update, along with the increased cadence of bans, should help avoid outcomes like the rapid ascension of Aurora. Also, I would say the rapid ascension of heroes like Zen and things like that. It can avoid some of that, because they have to find this perfect balance, right? Zen was too powerful out the gate. He was way too powerful, okay? And this is the only problem that I see. If there's a hero that's just clearly too powerful and it is not pinpointed very quickly and changed through an increased cadence of bans, then the halving of the points will create a very quick toxic state. So it's on LSS to be very judicial, but also be okay with lots of, and maybe not lots of, but targeted is a better word to say. Targeted bans to prevent a hero from just absolutely cutting the meta off at the knees because they're too good and they're only getting half the points for it. Because there was always the chance that, well, the hero's really, really good and at least they're going to go quickly, the Starvo way, right? But that's not going to be the case. So the downside to this setup is that there's a hero that could just absolutely power creep the format, Florian, for example, and they would only be getting half points, and so they're not progressing as fast as they could. So it's going to be up to the increased cadence of bans to actually balance that hero out, which I honestly is probably the way it should go no matter what. I don't necessarily think a hero should blitz their way to the living legend status and that just be like, oh, well, there's the story. Yes, it is their story, but is that a good story to tell? Right? Is that how legendary is that story to tell for that hero to just show up and blitz out of the format? I don't necessarily love it. So either way, pirates are coming. So all of this is irrelevant. All of this is absolutely irrelevant. And I'm just going to tell you, I was reading through all the cards again today, and it's really looking like this this limited set is going to be very cool. So I'm very much looking forward to heading to Taipei. I'm going to make some videos. I'm going to make some live stream. Well, maybe not live streams. I'll post some vlogs if I have solid enough stable internet connection in the area, which I'm sure I will because it's Taipei. I mean, come on. Either way, if you enjoy this change right over there, if you liked that change, leave a comment down below and make the number go to another number. As always, everybody, thanks for watching.